it's unveiling the secrets of marine microbes, our invisible allies. Why I am saying it's invisible allies? Because it does a lot of function to sustain the earth, which no other life forms can do. And since those are microscopic, most of them are microscopic, it's our invisible allies, right? A world cannot be thinkable if you don't consider life, right? I'm sorry, don't consider microbes. So microbes are the organism, or microorganisms are the first one to colonize on the earth. And if you remember well, the last week in the origin of life and origin of sea marine system and the life, I have explained that the unicellular organisms, okay, that could be also considered as primitive form of life, was originated close to 3.5 billion years ago, right? Correct. And then for close to 2 billion years, there was only unicellular life forms. So in a way, what we can say, we cannot imagine a life or a world without microbes. And this is not what I am saying. This is what the researchers have been investigating and giving a proper documentation regarding this scientifically. Okay. So in order to understand about the microbes, we have basically 5 questions, right? The first one is dealing with who are they. So it means that we will read about what all the different types of microbes are there, right? Where do they live? Whether they live only in the water column, or whether they live only in the sediments, or whether they live only in the associated communities. And if they are living in all parts of the ocean, so how are they sustaining? So what could be the mechanism, right? Whether they have been using light as a source, or they have been using chemical as a source, what sort of adaptation they are undergoing in order to live in different parts of the ocean. The fourth question is, there are microbes, they are doing some function, but why should we concern that? Or what is our concern about the microbial functions? And the last one is, even if there are microbes, they are living in all parts of the ocean, using different metabolic diversity, performing various applications, but how do we study them, or how do we know what they are doing, right? So all my presentation today, or all my talk today, will be revolving around these 5 questions. Okay. So basically we can say that we will look into the diversity, distribution, ecology, biology, and applications. Okay. And of course, how do we study all of them? So coming back to the first question about the microbes, who are they? Okay. I already said that these are the oldest life form. They are present in the stromatolites. So this is again a fossil stromatolites. If you remember what the stromatolites are, stromatolites were the colonies of the microbes, right? Right? Rock-like colonies in the underwater, in the shallow underwaters, right? And these are the same stromatolites, but in a fossilized form. Okay. So it proves, or when you date it, it proves that these these are the oldest life form, and they have been living for at least 3.5 billion years, at least, maybe more than that. So what is evident? It is evident that if this life form is present for such a long time, and all other life forms have been evolved in some way from the microbes, then or we can say that all the life form in presents depends on the past and the present activities of marine microbes. Why I am emphasizing marine microbes? Because at least the major theories of the evolution or the hypothesis of the origin of life suggest that the life has been originated into the shallow water or deep water, but in the marine environment, right? So it means if the life has evolved in the marine environment, then marine microbes might have played an important role in the past and the present activities for all the life forms on the earth. A very recent studies also suggest that in the humans, we have more bacterial cells than the human cells itself or the eukaryotic cells itself. This is a molecular cartography of a human skin in 3D, and you can see that in the human body or just on the screen on the skin, we have a colony of the bacteria almost at all the places. So I am not saying that these all are beneficial. At the same time, I am not saying that these all are harmful. So these microbes could be useful or could be harmful, but it is there performing some function. Okay. Also, I guess in 2007, if I am not wrong, that hologenome theory was postulated, where it was suggested that in any organism's genome, there are or you can consider the full genome that also includes the microbial genome in for any organism, right? So genome cannot be completely for humans or cannot be completely for rats. It also has all the associated community genome altogether, right? So that was also there in the hologenome theory. A very nice artistic petri plate, you can see that the life originated maybe from microbes and that it diverged in different life forms, right? Not only it is performing functions inside the body, but I mean outside the body, on the skin, on the surface, act as a pathogen, but these are very much integral part for all the life forms on the earth. Okay, so this is what the importance of microbes is. Coming back to what these microbes are. So, in a broad way, we can say that all the life forms which are invisible to the naked eyes can be considered as microbes, right? Or we can say that all those organisms which can be seen through the microscope, it means that they are in the range of microscopic size, those are called as microbes. Okay. Uh, Now, once we looked at what these microbes are, we can say that bacteria, archaea, fungi, protists, together with the non-cellular viruses. Again, it's a quite controversial. Many people do not want to keep viruses in the marine organisms because those are not a living cell. But then, for the sake of simplicity, and since the viruses are also playing an important role in the sustainability of the earth, uh, it is considered that non-cellular viruses are also forming together with the bacteria, archaea, fungi, and protist microbes. Okay, so we can say microbes are the life forms which are invisible to naked eyes, or it can be in the microscopic size range, mostly constituting of bacteria, archaea, fungi, protists, and non-cellular virus entities. Okay, with the advent of the molecular methods, or let's say that rRNA phylogeny, as we came, as we started using those molecular tools, right? After that, what it has been said that the life can be divided into three distinct lineages, and out of these three distinct lineages, two are, that is a bacteria and archaea, are totally microscopic, or you can say totally consisting of microorganisms. Apart from the two domains, that is bacteria and archaea, we also have some of them in eukarya. And if you remember well, that Dr. Prakash in the first class itself has taught you about the protists, right? And a number of unicellular organisms. So that also comes under microbes. So we can see that bacteria, archaea, fungi, protists are coming in different domains or different kingdoms when we classify based on the cellular life, right? So two full domain, bacteria and archaea, and partial eukarya, where we have the protists. Okay. A very recent paper, a new view of tree of life, which came in Nature Microbiology, has, based on the phylogeny, has clearly indicated three particular groups. So one consisting of bacteria, right? Another consisting of archaea, and then you have also eukarya. So in eukarya, you have several different classes, right? So this is again a very interesting paper, and if you're interested, you can just have a look. So you have bacteria, you have archaea, and then you have the eukarya for the microbes. So what is clear from this slide? This is clear that microbes consist of three different, microbes comes in all the three domains of the life. Okay. So how much these microbes constitute together? So time and again, several researchers have attempted to understand or to estimate what is the Earth's microbial biodiversity. I am listing here some of very interesting paper uh, in the chronology. In 1998, there was one paper by Whiteman. It's a prospective paper that what is the diversity of the unseen majority of prokaryotes. Okay, so they have estimated that the total number of bacterial and the archaeal cell in the ocean could be around 10 to the power 29 cells. Okay, down the line, we had several studies done in 2011, 2017 by Mora et al., which is also quite famous paper considering that it has considered all the life forms on, estimated all the life forms on the earth and the ocean. Then we have this Larson paper in 2017. However, the paper by Baron et al. In 2018 has confirmed or kind of estimated, confirmed estimate based on the modeling that oceans do have bacteria and the archaeal cells in the range of close to 10 to the power 29. Okay. In the same paper in Baron, suggesting that there could be 10 to the power 29 cells, bacterial and the archaeal cells in the ocean, right? Altogether, these bacterial and the archaeal cells uh, can be close to 1.6 gigaton of carbon. Okay, and also there could be more number of viruses than the number of bacteria and archaea. So if you combine together bacteria and archaea, that is close to 10 to the power 29. If you just count the number of viruses, that's close to 10 to the power 30. Okay, so this is the abundance of the marine viruses in the viruses in the marine ecosystem. Also, what is important to see here is that this particular slide where you have bacteria and archaea, and majority of the bacteria and archaea in the form of biomasses are there in the deep surface. Now, deep subsurface not only includes the continental deep surfaces, but also the deep oceanic continental, deep oceanic subsurfaces as well. So you can see the majority of the microbes, bacteria and archaea, has been thriving in a in a deep sea, at a very low temperature, high pressure, and kind of a very extreme environment. Okay, so we can say that though the microbes are very tiny, since they are present in the huge number, it contributes significantly in the total carbon of on the earth. That is close to 1.6 gigaton of carbon just by bacteria and the archaea. Okay. These bacteria or these archaea, or let's say these microbes in a general way, we can say that the size of these these microbes can vary drastically. It means that you can have the microbes of of a very, you can see the size range here, okay, 0.02 micron meter, and at the same time you have the bacteria that is 300 micron meter, and this is that Thiomargarita nambiensis, right? So some of the cells of Thiomargarita nambiensis also have 750 micron meter, so that is close to 0.75 mm. So that's quite, if there is a colony of that bacteria, you can see easily through the naked eye as well. So what you can see that even though the marine microbes are there in the abundant quantity in the ocean, they do have various size ranges, starting from less than 0.02 micron meter to 750 micron meter of Thiomargarita nambiensis. Thiomargarita nambiensis we have learned in the sulfur cycle in the continental shelf, and we have seen, I have said that this Thiomargarita nambiensis are sulfur oxidizing bacteria in the continental shelf and playing a very vital role into the sulfur cycle in that particular area, and that is near to the coast of Namibia in Africa. Okay, so this is this particular bacteria, which is also the largest bacteria in the marine ecosystem. Okay. So another thing what we need to remember or what we need to learn is that most of the ocean is a oligotrophic water. We will see what this oligotrophic means. Just to tell you the story, I will tell you that oligotrophic is less nutrient water, right? And then we know that it's a very hostile or very what do you say, not a very favorable condition in the ocean. For that, most of the bacteria or most of the archaea, or let's say microbes, I will stick with microbes, most of the microbes have large surface area by volume ratio. So this surface area by volume ratio determines their effective diffusion of the nutrients in the cell, and also it helps them to sustain better in the open ocean. So you can see that majority of the bacteria in the marine environment do have ultra structure, ultra microbacteria. You can say it's a very small in size most of the time, right? And because they have high surface area by volume ratios, they can sustain easily into the ocean. Here you can see some of the examples, right? This is Candida. Okay, this comes under SAR 11. So SAR 11 is a group or clade of a microbes, right, which is the most abundant bacteria in the water in the marine ecosystem. What you need to understand that SAR 11 contributes close to 20% of the bacterioplankton in the marine environment. I will tell you what this SAR 11 is in the coming slide. Okay. For now, you just remember SAR 11 is one of the most abundant bacterioplankton in the marine environment, and they do have a very small cells, right? This is the second image. What you can see, it's an image of Ostriococcus tauri. So Ostriococcus tauri is a microalgal cell, and it is one of the smallest microalgal cell in the marine environment. Okay, and this is the third image, which is for Thiomargarita nambiensis. So this Thiomargarita nambiensis can reach up to 750 micrometer in size. Okay, so I hope that now you got that microbes are there in a large number. They are small, but then they have a very high biomass altogether combinedly. Their size varies, and their surface area by volume ratio is always large. I mean, most of the time it's large, right? So two question comes here. First, you can see that if the surface area by volume ratio has to be large, then what kind of cell structure should be? So first question can be framed in this way, that what factors decide the cell size? Okay. And the second, that are they always ultra microbacteria? So to answer this, I will just give you one of the outcome one of the result. See, when you have the surface area by volume, the ratio improves the efficiency of the transport of the nutrients, okay, inside the cell. And you can see that spherical cells are the least efficient shape for nutrient uptake, okay, because the surface area by volume is large in the spherical cells. As you go in the rod shape, then surface area by volume ratio increases, right? You can see that that here that surface area by volume ratio increases once you go into the rod shape or into some other spiral shape or some other shape. Whereas you can see with this example that surface area by volume ratio is always higher in a smaller cell. So first, this explains us that why most of the bacteria in the marine environment are smaller in size, because a smaller size of the cell will have the high surface area by volume ratio, which improves the efficiency of their transport, nutrient transport, right? Second is that a spherical shape is not a very efficient shape for nutrient uptake. And also, if you have more appendages or more irregular, like more rod shape or spiral shape, that can increase the surface area by volume and it also increase the efficient nutrient uptake. So that is why most of the marine organisms, if you see, they are not spherical, but then they are rod shape or spiral shape or this kind of shapes, which you can see in this particular picture. Uh, which was which is taken from Virginia Ambrust paper in 2014 Science, that is the taking the pulses of ocean microbes. Okay, you can see here a hold constant volume. So you have a spherical, you have rod, and then you have thin rod, right? Then you can see the surface area by volume ratio, which is way higher in this particular thin rod, and that sustains. That makes them more efficient in order to diffuse the nutrients. So first, second is that also the small cell size have important implications in the active motility and chemotaxis. And now because the micro scale effects of the Brownian movement, so the smaller the cell, they will have the better mobility and the chemotaxis because of the Brownian movement. And that's why the microbes in the environment, in the marine environment, are mostly smaller in size. Okay. So now I hope that you got two answers. First concept is that the size varies in the marine microbes. That is but obvious because there are different categories or different types of the marine microbes, right? And then we see that most of the marine microbes are smaller in size. Reason is that the smaller cells will have higher surface area by volume ratio, which helps them in the efficient uptake of the nutrients. And also the spherical shapes do not have the best surface area by volume ratio. That's why most of the bacteria you can see in the marine environment are not spherical, but in the different rod or the different shapes. And also they can have more appendages like stalks or buds, which increases the surface area, right? So if the surface area is increasing, then it will increase the surface area by volume ratio, right? So that is one of the concepts we should take, right? Now that we have seen that microbes, about the size of the microbes, about the size variations of the microbes, then there is also a concept that based on the size of the microbes, the planktons, it can be classified. So the microorganism can be classified. Before to look into that, first we will see what plankton is. So I hope that you again remember the last week question that what plankton is, right? So plankton is a general term which is used for the organisms suspended in the water column and do not have very efficient locomotion, or that do not resist large scale water currents, right? So they are not a very active swimmers. They flow or they go with the oceanic waves and the currents, right? I hope that you remember this. So, in general, in the past, the concept was that either it is a phytoplankton or it's a zooplankton, because microbe was not much studied before. So you can see that if the plankton are doing the photosynthesis, or they are the autotrophs, they are called as phytoplankton. If the plankton are feeding on the phytoplankton, then those are called as zooplankton, right? So it's an easy classification: plankton that are plant, plankton that are animal. However, when we look into the microbes, and then based on the size, if we are going to classify the planktons, we can again put bacterioplankton. It means the plankton which are bacteria, virioplankton, the virus which is plankton, and then the fungi which is the plankton called as mycoplankton, right? So now I hope that you got that from where this terms came, like how this term originated. Because since the plankton, it's any organism which do not have a very active swimming, right? For the plant it was called as phyto, for the animal it was called as zoo. So for the microbes, different microbe, it is called as bacterio, virio, myco, and so, right? Now if we look into the plankton, plankton can be very small and plankton can be large. So if the size of the plankton, it's 0 point is less than 0.2 micron, okay, or if it is greater than 2 millimeter. So now you can see the size range, right? From 0.2 micron meter to 2 millimeter. There are several classes of planktons. So the most smaller one is called as femto. So if it is a femtoplankton, so we know that the viruses are the most smallest organisms. I mean, we can't say it as a living organisms, but we can say it's an entity. So viruses are very small. So virus is a good example of femtoplankton. Then a lot of people in the marine biology studies picoplankton. So this picoplankton comes in the range of 0.2 to 2 micron, okay, and it includes most of the autotrophic prokaryotes, that is Synechococcus and Prochlorococcus, which is nothing but a cyanobacteria, marine cyanobacteria, okay, and also it includes some of the heterotrophic bacteria and archaea, and then autotrophic eukaryote, for example, Bethicoccus. So also not only Bethicoccus, you also see here I give you one example of Ostriococcus, right? So this Ostriococcus is also smaller in size, so that also can be considered in the picoplankton. So in picoplankton, you have autotrophic prokaryote, autotrophic eukaryote, right? Bethicoccus, Ostriococcus. In autotrophic prokaryote, you have Synechococcus and Prochlorococcus, right? And then you have some of the heterotrophic bacteria and archaea. Okay. Then you have nanoplankton. Nanoplankton is between 2 to 20. So slightly bigger than picoplankton and slightly smaller than microplankton. You have a lot of auto and heterotrophic flagellates, ciliates, small diatoms, and dinoflagellates, which comes under nanoplankton. Then you have microplankton, which is having copepod nuclei, ciliates, diatoms, and dinoflagellates. So depending on the size, you can see that different planktons are named, I mean, the organisms are named as different planktons, right? Femtoplankton, virus, picoplanktons, prokaryote and eukaryotic autotrophs, and some heterotrophic bacteria. Nanoplankton, again you have flagellates, ciliates, small diatoms, and flagellates. And then microplankton, you have copepod nuclei. So copepod, I hope you remember from the marine class, right? So nuclei is one of the life stages of the copepod. Then you have ciliates, diatoms, and dinoflagellate. Mesoplankton, it's the copepod. So copepod nuclei comes in microplankton, and the full copepod comes, adult copepod comes in mesoplankton, right? And then also copepod can be bigger in size. And then you have the krills and the gelatinous plankton, jellyfishes. It all comes in the macroplankton. So now I hope that you can understand the classification of plankton by size, right? Femto, pico, nano. So mostly we will be dealing, or most of the time we will be dealing with femto, pico, nano. And in some time when we talk about the diatom and dinoflagellate, micro. Above micro, we mostly don't have the microorganisms. Okay. In a nutshell, what we have seen, that we have seen in the marine ecosystem, we do have marine microbes which varies in size, which varies in the surface by, in order to maintain the surface by volume ratio, they have a varying shapes, right? And altogether, it can be classified broadly into 5 different parts. First is bacteria, right? Here is an example of that SAR11 that I said. It's the smallest bacteria, not the smallest bacteria, kind of small bacteria. Then you have archaea, you have viruses, protists, and fungi. Okay. So today, what we do is that we understood that there are microbes, there are different kinds of microbes, right? So we answered that who are they, right? So in who are they, we have seen that there is a whole lot of diverse microbes which can be classified based on size, based on types, and it is having different mm, size and I mean, surface area by volume basis, right?